wife.
Do you remember what happened yesterday and where the hell we are today?
Well, yesterday we read Ezekiel Chapter 27.
Sure as fuck did.
And in that chapter, God was it God or somebody was lamenting? Ezekiel, I'm not sure who it was. I think it was God, though.
They were quoting the other people in the other cities, the other kings.
Got it. Well, anyway, they were lamenting the destruction of Tyre.
Tyre.
I always screw that up.
I know.
I want to say Tyre so bad.
So do I, but it's
just
Tyrus.
not. It's Tyre. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they were talking about how Tyre is a ship and how all these things are parts of the ship, and then God's going to sink the fuck out of it.
Yeah.
That's pretty much, I think.
And then
all
everybody was scared and also like, damn.
Yes. I just realized I had the setting wrong on the mic. So if you guys heard a click, that's what it was.
Click, click. My mic sounds nice.
So anyway, that was Ezekiel Chapter 27.
Sure as fuck was.
Which means that today we're getting into
Ezekiel Chapter 28.
All right, let's do this.
Okie dokie. All right, we are hopping into Ezekiel Chapter 28.
Or as I like to call it, Ezekiel Chapter 28.
Big E, here we go.
All right.
The word of the Lord, guess what it did?
It came to him.
It came to me.
It
That's
did,
right,
yeah.
me being Ezekiel.
Right, yeah.
Son of man.
You mere human.
You fucking worm. Say to the ruler of Tyre, this is what the sovereign Lord says. In the pride of your heart, you say, I'm a god. I sit on the throne of a god in the heart of the seas. Ooh, that's highfalutin.
Yeah.
You can't talk like that when Yahweh's about.
Well,
you don't want Yahweh
again,
to hear that.
This guy Ezekiel is going to come to him and tell him, "Hey, there's this other god that I hear, and you can't.
Yeah.
And you can't act like you're a god on that seat there that you."
I mean, to be fair, you're only human, so you shouldn't anyways. But,
right.
But also on top of that, my secret little sky daddy, he's going to get pissed.
I mean, I would just think the person's crazy if they told me that. You
right?
know, like, what is wrong with you, man?
Yeah. But you are a mere mortal and not a god, though you think you are as wise as a god.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I would wager that I might be wiser than God.
I'm not going to argue with a king, though. How about that?
No.
Well,
I mean, if it's a nice king and they're willing to argue with you.
That's not an argument. That's a debate.
Oh, okay. All right.
A debate is where you can argue without getting in trouble.
Sure.
And also there's less personal anger involved.
Okay.
It might get heated, but it doesn't get like, you son of a bitch.
I honestly don't think that Ezekiel ever went and talked to the king of Tyre.
I don't either.
I mean, this just sounds kind of ridiculous. Like, I just think they want to pretend like it happened, and they're like, this is what Ezekiel would have said. So
they're doing like what's her name? The lady that shot her dog.
Oh, the
Gnome, Christy Gnome.
Yeah, Christy Gnome. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I totally met Kim Jong
Kim Jong Un.
Thank you. I couldn't
say Un or I can't remember which one
Kim
it is.
Kim Jong Un.
Yeah, I think that's right.
And they were like, "Did you though?" And she was like, "I'll speak to my editor." Like, oh, so then you didn't.
Right. Yeah.
That's what Ezekiel's like. I totally talked to the king of Tyre. Prove I didn't.
But how did that pass a fucking editor though? Like seriously though, it passed the editor because she told him to put it through regardless.
Yeah.
Like, did this actually happen? And she was like, yeah, it absolutely did.
Yeah. From what I understand, off the record, there are several people being like, we totally told her to take it out and she wouldn't listen.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Anyways.
But what's the incentive in this day and age, right? Yeah. Because Trump can say whatever the fuck he wants and gets away with it. And most of the Republicans can say whatever the fuck they want and get away with it. Because generally, their news sources that their people listen to will just back them up.
Oh, I was listening to somebody that made a good point. Every year or two, they will totally turn on one of their own to throw as like a sacrifice to the gods. And remember, like a couple years ago, it was Madison Cawthorn, right? When he was like, they totally have, orgies and cocaine parties.
Well, I felt like he was touching on something that would have threatened the rest of them at some level.
Yeah.
And they were like, no, get this fucker out of here.
Yeah, but it's true though. Like they totally just, run the bus over one of them, and they're like, here, you can have this one. And now we can pretend, look, we totally, have our norms. We don't shoot dogs. We don't have orgies. We're great. Like, the bar is so fucking low. And not that I'm against having orgies if that's your fucking thing, whatever.
Sure,
I'm not into it, but, you do you. Consensually.
Right, yes.
So anyway, God is still talking, okay? He's like, he's telling Ezekiel to say to King Tyre,
right, yeah.
Are you wiser than Daniel, whoever the fuck that is that we haven't met yet, but we're going to eventually, I think?
Is that a prophet? Is it going to be a prophet?
I think so.
Okay, all right.
I think so. Some dude.
Sure.
I don't know. This dude named Daniel, are you wiser than him? Ooh. Is no secret hidden from you? By your wisdom and understanding, you have gained wealth for yourself and amassed gold and silver in your treasuries.
I mean, by the way they describe Tyre, they seem to be doing pretty well for themselves.
Yeah.
I guess if I was king of Tyre and that was my place, I'd feel pretty good about myself for what I had created,
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like capitalism's working fine for him.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Right. By
your great skill in trading, capitalism, you have increased your wealth. And because of your wealth, your heart has grown proud. I mean,
and can you blame them though? Like, no. I mean, I'm just saying, it's why wouldn't you?
When I am good at something, my heart also grows proud.
Yeah, and I think that's part of self-confidence, right?
Now,
why shouldn't you be proud of something that you're accomplishing?
I don't go around saying I'm a god.
No,
I don't think
but we're
I'm
also
better
taking
than others.
Ezekiel/God's word for this in the book,
right?
And
that he's
we don't know
swaggering SOB.
Right, we don't actually know that that's what he was. Maybe they just consider the fact that he has any
success.
Any success, and he doesn't give that success up to God.
Therefore he's a swaggering son of a bitch.
Yeah, that could be the whole reason they said that.
When really, think about this. Everybody comes to this port and trades, right? So it's already been established as an excellent hub, right? Everybody knows they're getting a fair deal or whatever, and from all over the world as they know it. Yeah. Right? So it's a good place to go, and they're getting introduced to other people. For all we know, it's actually like a really nice place. Yeah. Yeah. And they're like, you're not doing Judaism, so you fucking suck.
No, we talked about it in the last episode. If it wasn't for the slavery happening, that apparently was being traded in that city as well.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
It sounds like it would be kind of an interesting hub in the ancient world to go visit. There was a lot of shit going through that port, apparently.
Yeah. Yeah, I forgot about the slavery. That is much less impressive.
That's happened in recent history, even here in the United States. So, I mean...
Gross.
I'm not excusing it. There is no excuse for slavery, but it was something that was part of our past and past. So, I mean, it's,
Let's not pretend it's not there.
Right.
Therefore, this is what the sovereign Lord says.
Okay.
Because you think you are wise as a god, I am going to bring foreigners against you. The most ruthless of nations. They will draw their swords against your beauty and wisdom and pierce your shining splendor. I mean, he's basically saying, how dare you be pretty and successful? Fuck you for that.
But we were proud of Solomon being wise. Wise was a very good thing when Solomon was that. Yeah. So why do we have a problem with this guy? It's strictly, I think, because he does not worship Yahweh. Yeah. That's all it is. It has nothing to do with how wise he actually is. Mm-hmm. Or how successful he actually is. It
says beauty and wisdom. So it's they're successful, beautiful, and wise.
Right. This all comes down to the jealousy that God has. Mm-hmm. In the Bible, this all comes down to the jealousy that God has with regard to how these people get treated, right? Yeah. So if they do not worship Yahweh, then Yahweh is going to kill them. Yep. Period.
If we can't have your port, then no one can. Fuck it. Right. Is what the people are saying. Yeah. Honestly. Yeah. All right. So they will draw their swords against your beauty and wisdom and pierce your shining splendor. They will bring you down to the pit, and you will die a violent death in the heart of the seas. Will you then say, I'm a god, in the presence of those who kill you? Listen, I have to tell you something. If someone asks if you're a god...
You're supposed to say yes.
You say yes.
Right, but not if somebody's going to... I mean...
That's from Ghostbusters.
Yeah, no, I know. Okay. But, generally, I think you're not going to exclaim that you're a god in front of someone who's going to kill you.
I'm a god, bitches. I'm a god.
That's not how that works, no.
I got a sword against your throat. You going to say you're a god now? Absolutely not, sir.
Right, yeah.
You are pretty and smart. Please remove your sword. I will suck your dick. Thank you for not killing me. Have a nice day. You will be but a mortal, not a god, in the hands of those who slay you. Well, no shit, dipstick.
Yeah.
You will die the death of the uncircumcised at the hands of foreigners.
I can't help but think about how God worries about what his neighbors think. So, like, this guy's concerned that this guy is not going to call himself a god or be proud in the moment of his death that he is this great, great thing, right?
And then he's worried about his dick.
But he's also worried about what his neighbors think. Mm-hmm. Like, this God, this supposed God, thinks that he has to worry about what the neighbors think, but he's mad at you for not worshiping him and also kind of being condescending to you because you won't hold that same image up at the time of death.
Right.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
You have said you worry about what your neighbors think with regard to how you act.
You're a childish...
And you claim to be a god too, so fuck off, Yahweh.
It's true. It's true. Fuck off, Yahweh.
Yeah.
I'm just still caught up in the you will die the death of the uncircumcised. I'm like, hold on. We're talking about you're about to kill him and you're worried about his dick?
Yeah.
Why are we talking about people's dicks all the time?
I mean, to be fair, what was that story from early on when it was one of the people from this other clan raped a girl there was one clan that raped a girl from another clan. And all of her brothers came. Yeah. It was Delilah. Was it Delilah?
Yeah, maybe? I think so.
And then all of her brothers came, and they had them all get circumcised, and then they killed them.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but like I would have rather died uncircumcised than do all that shit.
Yeah.
That was fucked up.
That was fucked up.
I don't blame the brothers. Like, I get it, kind of.
They raped her sister.
Yeah,
and then...
right. I mean, I don't know about murder, but still, like. They kind of had some of that coming, at least not the murder, but just
you can
bad
be
shit.
Anti-murder and still know yourself. If somebody touches one of your loved ones, you might go on a murderous rage against them.
Right? Yeah.
Those are two separate things because murder willy-nilly, like punishing somebody over there, like that's for a third party to decide. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like. That's why we don't allow vengeance.
I think oftentimes, when somebody does something like that, especially in the modern times, right? Mm-hmm. If somebody did something to someone you love and then you went out and you got them back in the worst way possible, then you know what the consequences could be, right? And you've already accepted that possibility,
right?
So
I'm going down for murder.
Yeah,
got it.
Right.
Yeah.
And sometimes it feels like that might
be worth it.
I think, to some people.
Yeah.
So I don't want to judge because that is, there's some horrible shit that other people do and they definitely are bad people. So,
I mean, let's say that something happened to Kid, right?
Right.
I don't know that either one of us could be held back.
Right.
Honestly.
Yeah. Like, yeah. I don't know.
I'd have a hard
It's
time.
definitely a hard place to put yourself in a personal situation.
Yeah.
It's always easier to judge from afar. But when it affects you personally, that's a lot different. So
I want to be a person who says I don't seek vengeance, but I know for a fact if you touched my kid, I would come after you.
Right.
I'm not proud of that, but I'm not also embarrassed or ashamed of it either. It just is what it is.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, God says you'll die the death of the uncircumcised at the hands of foreigners. I have spoken, declares the sovereign Lord.
Have you?
Yeah, and guess what happens next?
Actually, he didn't. Ezekiel spoke because you talked to him.
I know.
So,
but guess what happened next?
I don't know what.
The word of the Lord came to me.
Yeah. Okay.
Son of man.
You mere human.
You fucking worm. Take up a lament concerning the king of Tyre and say to him, this is what the sovereign Lord says.
We just lamented the city.
We lamented the city. Now we're lamenting the king.
Okay. All right.
You were the seal of perfection, full of wisdom and perfect in beauty.
Wow.
You were in Eden, the garden of God.
Wow.
Every precious stone adorned you. Carnelian, chrysolite, and emerald, topaz, onyx, and jasper. Lapis lazuli, turquoise, and beryl. Your settings and mountings were made of gold. On the day you were created, they were prepared. You were anointed as a guardian cherub, for so I ordained you. You were on the holy mount of God.
Hold on. That God ordained this king of Tyre?
Sure, why not?
I don't even, like, is he supposed to be Jewish? I don't really understand what's going on here. Like,
I have no
I know that
idea.
they started stretching their influence a little bit, but, like, I didn't feel like it stretched to, like, the port cities. And I don't know. I don't feel like this is correct exactly.
I have no idea.
Why is he claiming ownership of this person when it doesn't sound like this guy even, like, hardly knows who God is?
Right.
You know?
He doesn't sound like a fan of Yahweh, or even maybe like he knows who the fuck Yahweh is.
Right.
If he's walking around going, my city's awesome, I'm a god.
He obviously doesn't care, at the very least.
Right.
So, I don't know.
God's saying, you walked among the fiery stones. You were blameless in your ways from the day you were created till wickedness was found in you. Through your widespread trade, you were filled with violence and you sinned.
Okay.
Your worldwide trade is what did it, huh?
I don't know.
You're not supposed to spread out? Because it seems to me that the Israelites are spreading the fuck out and conquering and trying to...
Sometimes, yeah.
You know?
Not right now. They're getting conquered at the moment.
Well, sure. But I'm just saying, like, it just depends on who you are at any given moment as to whether you're supposed to be spreading out and conquering other lands.
It really depends on who's doing the conquering at any given point, and that's who God's gonna back at that point. Because right now, God is backing Babylon. He's like, yeah, they're my tool, but he's also gonna kill them later because, you know, that tool worked against his people. So it's just convenient way to phrase the happenings of history. Yeah,
I'm annoyed that this guy is literally in trouble for being successful.
Yeah.
You know, that seems incorrect. If we're going to hate him, I would like to know that he did some really bad shit. Not just that, yeah, he ran a good hub.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing. He sold slaves. He sold living human beings.
Yeah, I'm sure he was not a great person.
Yeah. But that is not what God's pissed about.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And if it was, I would be like, yeah, get him. Good for you. Get him.
Sure.
But
at least that's a worthy.
That makes sense, right?
Cause,
but that's not what it is. He's just like, you successful SOB. I hate how good you are at your job.
Stop being arrogant and calling yourself a god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I drove you in disgrace from the mount of God, and I expelled you, guardian cherub, from among the fiery stones. Your heart, I mean, it sounds like God loves this guy more than he loved Solomon and stuff.
Yeah.
Right?
What are the fiery stones? Do you have any notes on that? Or is that, I'm just curious. He keeps saying fiery stones.
I don't know.
Okay. I was just curious.
I have no idea. I'll see if I can find anything for Q&A.
Yeah.
Your heart became proud on account of your beauty, and you corrupted your wisdom because of your splendor. So I threw you to the earth. Boom! I made a spectacle of you before kings. Nah. By your many sins and dishonest trade, you have desecrated your sanctuaries. So I made a fire come out from you, and it consumed you. And I reduced you to ashes on the ground in the sight of all who were watching. All the nations who knew you are appalled at you. You have come to a horrible end and will be no more.
Okay. Was that the end?
No, that's the end of that section. Okay. So I wanted to give it like a decent, like...
Got it. Yeah.
Okay. So remember how I said that there was a prophecy against Tyre that lasted for a couple chapters?
Yes.
And it started in like 24, I think, or some shit like that?
Right.
So it's done now?
Okay.
Okay, but or maybe it was chapter 26. I don't remember. Anyways, it went on for a few chapters. Now we're done talking about Tyre.
Okay. All right.
So we're moving on to a new section.
Sure.
Okay.
Yep.
So guess what?
What?
The word of the Lord came to me.
Did it?
It did. Again.
Okay.
Some more.
Got it.
Son of man.
You mere human.
You fucking worm. Set your face against Sidon. Prophecy against her and say, this is what the sovereign Lord says. I'm against you, Sidon.
So who the fuck is Sidon?
I don't know. Sidon. It might be Sidon.
Have we even talked about them before?
I don't fucking know.
It doesn't feel like we have.
This is some city.
Okay.
You don't like.
Sure.
And among you, I will display my glory. You will know that I'm the Lord.
Display your glory, man. No one wants to see that shit.
Everybody loves his glory. Look at that glory. Yum, yum. You will know that I'm the Lord when I inflict punishment on you and within you and prove to be holy. Every time you're in me, I don't think you're holy. That is not a thing that happens.
No.
I will send a plague upon you. Whoa! And make blood flow in your streets. Whoa!
Yeah, this is getting, like normal, actually.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know why I just reacted that way. He's sending another plague. Holy shit. Okay. The slain will fall within you, the sword against you on every side. Then you will know
that my name is the Lord.
That I am the Lord.
Oh, yeah, whatever. Yep.
No longer will the people of Israel have malicious neighbors who are painful briars and sharp thorns. Yeah, that.
Wait, no longer will who have painful? Who? Israel?
No longer will the people of Israel have these malicious neighbors who are painful briars and sharp stones.
Wait.
Or thorns.
We're talking. Israel is going into exile as well.
Yeah.
They've been conquered as well.
Yeah.
They don't have neighbors because they're conquered. What the fuck? Like, you laid waste to fucking Jerusalem.
Yeah.
And you're sitting here talking about worrying about their neighbors.
Well, sometimes you have to take your dog out to a gravel pit and you have to shoot it, right? And then you're in the mood to shoot other animals while you're at it. So then you go get that billy goat that's been bugging you all these last few days.
Yeah.
And so then you're like, fuck it. And you take that billy goat out to the same gravel pit and you shoot it too.
Hashtag true stories for, what was her name again? Christy Nome.
Yeah. So clearly she got that from this portion of the Bible where God was just like, I'm in a killing mood. I got my gun loaded. I shot that dog. that Israel.
Right.
And now I'm going to shoot this goat called Sidon.
Yeah.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then they will know that I am the sovereign Lord. This is what the sovereign Lord says.
Yeah.
When I gather the people of Israel from the nations where they've been scattered, I will be proved holy through them in the sight of the nations. Da, 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 da.
So this is all about the homecoming. Like,
yeah.
He's going to kill everybody, including his people. Mm-hmm. And then he's going to scatter some of his people, but they're all going to come back. Mm-hmm. And when they come back, because they're going to be so holy and wonderful at that point, because God will have changed their hearts and made them these most wonderful people who are probably so holy that you just can't even see straight. You probably should see straight, though, because you got to stay on that straight path. Mm-hmm. But that's when they're going to know that his name is the Lord.
Yeah.
That's when they're going to know that he is God.
Yep. They won't know until then.
That's the time. That's the one.
Yep. Then they will live in their own land, which I gave to my servant Jacob. They will live there in safety and will build houses and plant vineyards, and all their Lego sets will go together, and they'll have the one that you can't find anymore except on eBay. And it's going to be so groovy. It's going to be holy and nice. They will live in safety when I inflict punishment on all their neighbors who maligned them.
Yeah.
And there's going to be Barbies and Cabbage Patch dolls. And there's going to be no clothes are too big. All of your pants fit just right. Mm-hmm. And you can just always have enough water, but also Dr. Pepper, because why not? And chocolate for everybody. And the streets are filled with cheese. Oh, there are no cats in America. Oh, sorry. I got carried away there, didn't I?
A little bit. Yeah.
Then they will know that I am the Lord their God. The end.
Okay. It occurs to me that if he's going to kill all the neighbors, who's going to be there to see that?
Nobody.
Okay. Yeah.
Fuck neighbors. We don't need neighbors.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, if he wants people to know that he is the Lord, who's going to be left to know that he is the Lord other than
his own people? That's all he needs.
Okay.
And they will know.
But he seems to care an awful lot about what other people think, even though he's going to kill them all.
Well,
so it's really weird to me.
It's almost like this shit don't make no sense, and that it just is very topsy-turvy.
Yeah.
And what's that word where sometimes it says one thing, but then it contradicts itself and says something else?
I'm not going to be able to come up with it in a timely manner here because I don't know what you're talking about exactly.
Well, I said it. It's contradictions.
Oh. Okay.
It's God's always wrong.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. All right. So was that all we got for today then?
That's all we got, and it was more than a fucking enough.
All right. Well, that was Ezekiel chapter 28.
Sure as fuck was.
Yes. Listen. Yeah. And so we will be back tomorrow we're not doing a live tomorrow, guys. Just a reminder, we're not doing a live.
Sorry.
And we might be changing some schedules with lives in the future, but we will be back tomorrow with
Ezekiel Chapter 29.
All right. We'll see you then.
Bye.
Hey, wife, I guess that's the end?
But husband, that's just sad.
It doesn't have to be. We are on lots of social media platforms like Twitter. Our handle there is sacrilegious_D.
For D's nuts.
Oh my God. Stop doing that. Anyway, we're also on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest. There's a link to all of our social media sites at our website.
Ooh, we have a website?
Yeah, it's sacrilegiousdiscourse.com, where you can also find a link to our merch shop.
We have a merch shop?
Yep, we have podcast-themed clothing, mugs, notebooks, and more, as well as an atheist and science-themed products.
Wow, our fans should really go check that out right now.
Definitely. They can get in touch with us by sending an email to sacrilegiousdiscourse@gmail.com. But before they do that, we could really use some help.
Oh yeah? With what?
Well, it's not free running the podcast, and we need some financial support in order to get better equipment, which will free up time so we can concentrate on our podcast and our fans.
Okay, so what should they do?
Head over to patreon.com/sacrilegiousdiscourse and sign up as a contributor on our podcast. Supporters there receive additional bi-weekly episodes that we record just for our Patreon members for as little as $2 a month.
Also, we'd really appreciate it if you would like and subscribe on whatever platform you're using.
And Apple Podcast reviews help us out tremendously.
Like and subscribe. Leave an Apple review. Join us on Twitter. Support us on Patreon. That's a lot of instructions. Don't forget to say thanks.
Thanks.
Okay, bye.